And welcome to the March 25th, 2014 Town Board meeting of the Town of Ossining. Please stand for the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Councilmember Jeffries?
Present.
Councilmember Harder?
Present.
Councilmember Wilshire?
Present.
And Supervisor Donnelly.
Present.
This evening, we have the public hearing in the matter of an amendment to the 2014 cabaret license for Maya Riviera. Is there anyone that would like to address the board? Not seeing anyone. Might we then have a motion to close this public hearing?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Do we have any announcements? this
Yes, we
evening?
do. We want to start off by first congratulating the entire Ossining school system, from basketball to science fairs. What an outstanding group of teachers, coaches, and students. We stop and we salute you. Great job. We want to remind everyone that our Town of Ossining Town Hall meeting will be April 15th, 2014, at the Public Library at 7:30, and our agenda is revaluation kickoff meeting. And we'll talk about that a little bit later in the announcements. Proposed 1720 annexation from the Town of Ossining to the Village of Briarcliff Manor. The Town of Ossining is committed to a policy of transparency regarding all issues, including the proposed annexation of election districts 17 and 20 from the unincorporated area of the Village of from the unincorporated area to the Village of Briarcliff Manor. We have spent a great deal of time doing our due diligence, listening to the taxpayers, 75 to 80 who spoke at meetings and/or wrote to the town, were not in favor of annexation, and evaluating the body of facts before us. We have studied the annexation law in great detail, and you can read our findings as well as other backup data at the townofossining.com webpage. The town concluded that it was not in the best interest of the residents of District 17 and 20, the rest of the unincorporated area, and the Village of Briarcliff Manor, and the Village of Ossining for annexation to go forward. Conversely, the Village of Briarcliff Manor performed their own analysis on the proposed request, which could be found on their webpage, and concluded that annexation would be in the best interest of the community. The Village of Briarcliff Manor now has the option to take the matter to appellate court. This process will cause the community to incur a variety of unbudgeted legal costs, as special counsel will have to be hired to represent both the Town of Ossining and the Village of Briarcliff in the proceedings. We cannot even begin to estimate these costs, but we have not yet heard from Briarcliff Manor as to whether or not they plan to pursue this in court. In the meanwhile, the town will proactively begin the process of interviewing law firms to get estimates to see how this will impact our budget. Revaluation of the Town of Ossining. Over the past 2 years, we have discussed the plan for the total revaluation of all town properties, residential as well as commercial. We have spoken about it at many of our town hall meetings and work sessions. We have even hosted speakers from New York State Real Property Tax Services and encouraged all in the community to undergo the who encourage all communities to undergo a reval so that property owners are sure they have fair and equitable assessment of their property, resulting in each owner paying only their fair share of taxes. While there may be a shift in some properties, how some properties are valued, many people will find that their property taxes do not change drastically. We, as do other municipalities in Westchester, use equalization rates to account for the differences in value on today's tax roll. This is not a tax increase, but rather a revaluation to ensure that municipalities, schools and library in Westchester County are distributing the tax burden fairly. We have worked both with the villages and the school systems on this project and have actively kept them in the loop throughout the whole process. Everyone understands the importance of this process, as it is the only way to both slow and minimize the grieving of taxes, which result in large refunds, lost administrative time, and cost to borrow money to pay out settlements. The town, not counting the villages, schools, and Westchester County, has had to bond to pay for these refunds. In the chart below, and this is also on the web page, this whole talk here, you can plainly see how the town is best served by correcting this process and moving forward with an updated tax rolls. Over the past 5 years, the town alone, between tax certiorari's, which is done for commercial properties, and SCARs, which is small claims, has given back $1,276,506. Again, if you are concerned that your house or commercial property is incorrectly assessed, please call the assessor's office at 914-762-8274. Homeowners, you may see in your mailbox flooded, and it has started because I've gotten 3 already in the last 2 days, with postcards and letters from tax grievance companies. Don't forget, you always have the option for speaking to the assessor instead, rather than paying these companies to simply have a conversation for you. On April 15, 2014, we will have our next town hall meeting, and the company handling the project will be present to a detailed overview of the project. For example, some of the questions that will be answered are: how does the process happen? What is the time frame of the process? Will my home or business be physically inspected? How do I ensure that I have the correct building permits, inspections for any work I've had done in the past? What are the costs associated with going to the building department after I've done work that required a permit? We encourage as many people to come, but we do realize that April 15th is Passover. We've already spoken to the rabbi several times. And there might be other community events taking place that day. We will repeat this kickoff meeting in the very near future. We're just going to come up with some dates. We'll even have it at the library if necessary, as well as arrange meetings at other venues such as neighborhood or condo meetings, clubs and religious organizations, social groups, safety net organization, and condos and homeowner associations. Do you want to schedule a meeting with the assessor, the town board representative, and Taylor Technology? Just call the supervisor's office, 762-6001, or email me at sdonnelly@townofAustin.com. The pilot at Harbor Square. There will be a Westchester County IDA public hearing on Monday, April 7th at 11 a.m. at the Joseph G. Caputo Community Center concerning the pilot of the Harbor Square project. It is interesting that last night there was an Ossining Chamber of Commerce meeting where Jim Coleman spoke about the many programs of Westchester County offers, including the Industrial Development Agency, which is the agency that approves or disapproves pilots. Nowhere in this documentation does it ever say anything about residential buildings being part of a pilot. As you know, the town of Ossining said no to the pilot, but it appears it will move forward for the village of Ossining, the Ossining School Districts, and the Ossining Public Library, as well as Westchester County. I know that I will be at the public meeting because I know I will be there at the public meeting on April 7th, and I will speak because the town feels that the pilots should be employed for commercial properties, bringing jobs to the community, and who demonstrate hardship, and not to enhance the profits of a developer. Our statement from our December 2013 supervisor's update is on the web page, and if you need me to read it to you, I can always call us at the office if you can't get on the web. I'm not going to read it tonight. It goes on in detail to tell why we are not in favor, why the 2013 board was not in favor of the pilot, including the fact that the school districts will lose $1.3 million from the pilot. The library will lose $55,000. The village of Ossining, $611,000. The town general will lose $38,000. But that wasn't the point. The point was not to make our tax money. The point was that we believe that it is not in the best interest of the residents and business owners of this town for a residential community to get a pilot. So that's what I have for this evening so far, because I'm not going to go into that whole thing, because we've read it before at meetings. So, but again, I want to thank the school system. What a wonderful weekend we had between science fairs and basketball games. I'm very proud of everyone.
Do we have any other announcements? Do we have any public comments on any of the agenda items? Seeing none, we'll move into board resolutions. Resolved that the town board of the town of Ossining hereby approves the March 11th, 2014 minutes of the regular meeting as presented. Do I have a motion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Resolved, the town board of the town of Ossining hereby approves the March 18th, 2014 minutes of the special meeting as presented. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Resolved, the town board of the town of Ossining hereby approves the voucher detail report dated March 25th, 2014, in the amount of $39,117.91 for 2013 and $382,827.18 for 2014, with a grand total of $421,945.09. Do I have a motion?
So moved. Second. Quick
Sure.
question. Betty,
When will the audit be over? Well, the audit begins Monday, April 14th, and goes through the balance of that week.
This should be the last voucher report that you see 2013. We can only hope 2013 vouchers on. We hope this is usually
We keep having some that sneak in there.
Yeah, but we have to give. April 15th is right around the corner, and April 14th, and we have to give the finance department time to get all the books ready. So we have told people that the end of March is the cutoff date for our invoices. So
Fingers crossed.
fingers crossed, right?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Resolved, the town board of the town of Ossining hereby calls for a public hearing to be held on Tuesday, April 8th, 2014, at 7:30 p.m. in the Police Court Facility, 8688 Spring Street, in the matter of the Cablevision contract. Do I have a motion?
So moved. Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Whereas the town of Ossining is required to collect town, county, and school taxes for the municipality, with the onus on the town to make whole the county and school district for any uncollected taxes. And whereas the receiver of taxes has been approached by a property owner requesting a short-term payment plan for the owner-occupied property at Ellis Place. And whereas the town board occasionally grants such a plan and has the discretion to accept or reject any proposal by a resident or commercial property owner, now therefore be it resolved that the town board of the town of Ossining hereby grants the aforementioned payment plan to this property owner with the understanding that this sets no precedent going forward for this or any other property in the future. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Excuse me. Whereas the town of Ossining is required to collect town, county, and school taxes for the municipality, with the onus on the town to make whole the county and the school district for any uncollected taxes, and whereas the receiver of taxes has been approached by an organization requesting a short-term payment plan for the building known as the Ossining Moose Lodge, 1460 at 37 Croton Avenue, owned by the Loyal Order of the Moose, and whereas the town board occasionally grants such a plan and has the discretion to accept or reject any proposal by a resident or commercial property owner, now therefore be it resolved that the town board of the town of Ossining hereby grants the aforementioned payment plan to this property owner with the understanding that this sets no precedent going forward for this or any other property in the future. Do I have a motion?
So moved. Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Ossining hereby grants Mark S. Toulis, Esquire of Oxman, Toulis, Kirkpatrick, Wyatt, and Geiger, LLP, 120 Bloomingdale Road, White Plains, New York, as special counsel to conduct an in rem foreclosure proceedings upon its tax liens appearing in the 2013 list of delinquent taxes, as to which payment has not been made. Compensation to Mr. Toulis shall be in accordance with his letter to the Town of Ossining dated March 17th, 2014. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Resolved, the Town Board of the Town of Ossining hereby authorizes Robin Goldsand of RG Agency to perform the title and lien searches required in connection with the 2013 list of delinquent taxes in preparation for the in-rem foreclosure proceedings at a fee of $200 per parcel. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Whereas proceedings pursuant to Article 7 of the Real Property Tax Law of the State of New York were instituted by Seashell Realty LLC against the Town of Ossining to review the tax assessments made on petitioner's property located at 70 Spring Street, Town of Ossining, and designated on the tax assessment map of the Town of Ossining as Section 97.07-3-72 for the tax assessment years 2012 and 2013, which proceedings are now pending in the Supreme Court of the State of New York, County of Westchester, under index numbers 67065, 2012, and 66612, 2013, and whereas the above petitioner has agreed to a compromise and settlement of such proceedings subject to the approval of the Town Board, correcting and reducing the assessed valuation of its real property and improvements as follows. Whereas any and all refunds necessitated by said settlement will be made without interest, and whereas the Town Board, upon the recommendation of the assessor concurred by the Town Attorney, finds the proposed settlement appropriate and in the best interest of the Town of Ossining. Now therefore it is resolved that settlement of the proceedings on the terms set forth herein is hereby accepted and approved, subject to the approval of the Supreme Court, Westchester County, wherein such proceedings are pending. And it is further resolved that the Town Attorney is hereby authorized and directed to procure and execute any documents necessary to effectuate such settlement. And is further resolved, subject to the approval of the Supreme Court, Westchester County, that the assessor is authorized and directed to make the changes and corrections to the individual unit assessment on the tax assessment roll of the Town of Ossining, which will be ordered pursuant to the consent judgment to be entered into accordance with the terms of this settlement. And the receiver of taxes is authorized and directed to process and pay the refund of town taxes estimated to be $103.61, which will be ordered pursuant to consent judgment. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Can I have just a question? Do we know what property? It says 70, but Seashell, I don't know where.
Right next door.
It's right next door.
Right next door. Thank you. Okay, thank you.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Whereas proceedings pursuant to Article 7 of the Real Property Tax Law of the State of New York were instituted by Seashell Realty LLC against the Town of Ossining to review the tax assessment made on petitioner's property located at 80 Spring Street, Town of Ossining, and designated on the tax assessment map of the Town of Ossining as Section 97.07-3-73 for tax assessment years 2012 and 2013, which proceedings are now pending in the Supreme Court of the State of New York, County of Westchester, under index numbers 67067, 2012, and 66611, 2013. And whereas the above petitioner has agreed to a compromise and settlement of such proceedings subject to the approval of the Town Board, correcting and reducing the assessed valuation of its real property and improvements as follows. Whereas any and all refunds necessitated by said settlement will be made without interest, and whereas the Town Board, upon the recommendation of the assessor, concurred by the town attorney, finds the proposed settlement appropriate and in the best interest of the town of Austin. Now therefore it is resolved that settlement of the proceedings on the terms set forth herein is hereby accepted and approved, subject to the approval of the Supreme Court, Westchester County, wherein such proceedings are pending. And is further resolved that the town attorney is hereby authorized and directed to procure and execute any documents necessary to effectuate such settlement. And it is further resolved, subject to the approval of Supreme Court, Westchester County, that the assessor is authorized and directed to make the changes and corrections to the individual unit assessment on the tax assessment roll of the town of Ossing, which will be ordered pursuant to the consent judgment to be entered in accordance with the terms of this settlement. And the receiver of taxes is authorized and directed to process and pay the refund of the town of Ossing taxes estimated to be $103.61, which will be ordered pursuant to said consent judgment. Do I have a motion?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Resolved, the town board of the town of Ossing hereby accepts the bid from William Farrell in the amount of $200 for the O'Day sailboat, registration number DN 203026. Do I have a motion?
So moved. Second.
Just want to comment on that. The town and village of Ossining and their recreation program have a sailing club. If anyone interested in learning how to sail or does know how to sail and doesn't have a boat should feel free to join it. You go down to the community center. You have to have your registration card, and you pay $1 to join the sailing club, and then you pay into the club itself of $50 for an individual and $75 for family, so that because they maintain the boats. That's so they can have the motors worked on and stuff. So occasionally, the sailing club has been around for about 6 or 7 years. So occasionally, once they have all their boats are donated to them, and once they've used them, and multiple people, it's just like having a rent-a-car sometimes. Multiple people use a boat. We then sell it. We then sell it to the highest local person that wants to buy it. And this William Farrell bought it for $200, and we're very pleased. It was one other time that we've had that done. We did lose one sailboat to a fire, but it's neither here nor there. But they do put 2 great sailboats into the water every year. So please join if you have a chance. Go down and ask about it at the community center.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Resolved, the town board of the town of Ossing hereby appoints Ramel Dubois Ossing to the temporary position of laborer in the town parks department effective April 1st, 2014, at a rate of $8.25 per hour. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Resolved, the town board of the town of Ossing hereby appoints Shamel Edwards Ossing to the temporary position of laborer in the town parks department effective April 1st, 2014, at a rate of $8.25 per hour. Do I have a motion?
Second.
Let me just comment on these 2 young men. The Parks Department, of course, their season really begins around April 1st. And so what we do is we bring on what's referred to as seasonal help. They can work up to 90 days. And they can work up to 90 days in the town, and they can work up to 90 days in the village. These 2 young men have been with us before, and Henry Atterbury seems very confident in them. And I think that our goal this year is to spruce up the town parks a little bit, and he's got some new spruce, and he's got some new objectives and some new ways of getting around doing that. And these 2 gentlemen will help a lot. So,
All those in favor?
aye.
Opposed? Whereas proceedings pursuant to Article 7 of the Real Property Tax Law of the State of New York were instituted by Arthur Malson, Jr. against the town of Ossing to review the tax assessments made on petitioner's property located at 1181 Pleasantville Road, Village of Briarcliff Manor, Town of Ossing, and designated on the tax assessment map of the Town of Ossing as Section 98.10-1-67 for tax assessment years 2010, 2011, 2012, and 2013, which proceedings are now pending in the Supreme Court of the State of New York, County of Westchester, under index numbers 25039-10, 15892-11, 65165-12, and 64503-13. And whereas the above petitioner has agreed to a compromise and settlement of proceedings subject to the approval of the town board correcting and reducing the assessed valuation of its real property and improvements as follows. Whereas any and all refunds necessitated by said settlement will be made without interest, and whereas the town board, upon the recommendation of the assessor, concurred by the town attorney, finds the proposed settlement appropriate and in the best interest of the town of Ossining. Now therefore it is resolved that settlement of the proceedings on the terms set forth herein is hereby accepted and approved, subject to the approval of the Supreme Court, Westchester County, when such proceedings are pending. And it is further resolved that the town attorney is hereby authorized and directed to procure and execute any documents necessary to effectuate such settlement. And it is further resolved, subject to the approval of the Supreme Court, Westchester County, that the assessor is authorized and directed to make the changes and corrections to the individual unit assessment on the tax assessment roll of the town of Ossining, which will be ordered pursuant to the consent judgment to be entered in accordance with the terms of this settlement. And receiver of taxes is authorized and directed to process and pay the refund of the town of Ossining taxes estimated to be $218.75, which will be ordered pursuant to said consent judgment. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second?
I know.
I said second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
I'll lean this way.
Resolved, the town board of the town of Ossining hereby appoints Paul Mazzelli Ossining to the town of Ossining Board of Assessment Review to serve a 5-year term set to expire on September 30th, 2018. Do I have a motion?
Oh, too funny.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
I abstain. I'd like to just state that I did not get a chance to meet this person, and so I'm not saying anything to his character or his ability. I did question only because it states that people in this legislative body shall have knowledge of property values, and I don't know what type of knowledge this gentleman has about property values. I was not able to assess that, so due to those reasons, I abstain from this vote.
Resolved, the town board of the town of Ossining hereby appoints Gregory Kane Ossining to the town of Ossining Planning.
Oh, you have to, oh, no, yeah.
No, we did.
Oh, yeah, we did. Yeah,
Yes.
because that was, yeah. You thought that the vote, the talk was before, yeah, I know.
Yes, we
Gets
did vote.
confusing sometimes.
Resolved, the town board of the town of Ossining hereby appoints Gregory Kane Ossining to the town of Ossining Board of Assessment Review to serve a 5-year term set to expire on September 30th, 2018. Do I have a motion?
So moved. Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
I abstained for the same reasons stated before.
That completes your resolutions for this evening. We have no correspondence to be received and filed, and we have no monthly reports. We'll move on to visitor recognition. Do we have anyone who would like to address the board?
Come on, Bobby. Bobby's back.
I was going to say. Oops,
Yes,
sorry.
I'm still Bobby Williams. I'm 168 Spring Street in the village of Ossining. And I've been out of place for about over 2 years. And most of those 2 years, I was on jury duty. And the other part, I guess I was in the hospital a couple of times
Oh, that's not
and
good.
stuff like that. But I'm fine, and I came to let you know I'm still alive and still well.
I want you to know, retirement does you very well, Bobby, and I hope you are well after you said you've been hospitalized, but you look at least 20 years younger than you did at the end, just before you retired. So welcome back.
Thank you, and also I'd like to thank the Emma Hudson give me a good send-off to, and on their website, I was for a familiar site on the front page. So I also thank them for sharing, because when I was there, I was, well, before I retired, I was meeting everybody and had a lot of picture taken. So I said, well, it was a good send off. So I thank them for all the administrators and the teacher and so on. And so, yes, I did have a good send off.
Good for you.
Very nice.
Thank you.
Good seeing you.
Welcome back.
Yes. Now, am I going to see you at the village board meeting on Wednesday?
I want you, I just want to, can I make one comment before we adjourn? I just want to comment that we had the public hearing on the amended liquor, cabaret license. You already have the liquor license. Cabaret license. And what we will do is, next week, we'll have a brief discussion, and then we will have a special session. So you just have to go one more week with the hours, and then we'll give it to you next week. If I foresee no problem with that. Okay? Because we have to put it in the paper and everything. All right. Madam Clerk.
Might I have a motion to adjourn?
Madam Supervisor, if I may.
Only if you talk into your mic and turn it on.
Okay. Tap, tap. I'd like to request that the board take adjournment, and with the understanding and concerns that everyone has about downed airplane, Indian Ocean, roughly 230 individuals who board that, and also the 190 or so
In Washington.
Mudslide, the other one, yeah.
It has been a very stressful week or so. Yeah. Well, thank you, sir. Take a moment of silence. Thank you.
Do I have a second to that motion?
Second.
We're adjourning into a political caucus. All in favor?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Well, another quick meeting. It's 8 o'clock, and we are very happy that we can get through a lot of our things. We do have quite a few things happening. We want to thank all of the people that call and talk to us in the office about different subjects. And please be aware that we're staying on top of anything. We've had meetings with developers. We've had meetings with the planning board and stuff. So anything that you can imagine, we are meeting on and taking action on every day in the supervisor's office. So we hope to see you next week, next Tuesday, which is April Fool's Day, isn't it?
Yes,
It's April Fool's Day. We'll be here in our normal attire. And, not here. We'll be at 16 Croton having a work session.
It's April Fool's.
And yeah, and so we hope you join us there or look up the agenda. If you do not have internet access, please feel free to call the office. If you're looking for any information that we have, we will gladly mail it to you. Sometimes we can, if you come into the office, we can give it to you too. Any information about any subject that we're dealing with right now. So we know that we have some people that only see us on the public access and government channels. So thank you. Have a wonderful week, and we will see you next Tuesday, April 1st at 16 Croton Avenue for our regular work session. And don't forget, on April 15th, we'll be having a town hall meeting at the library. So we look forward to seeing you there, too. Thank you.